Part 1. Building the Foundation to Learn English. Hello everyone and welcome to this special lesson. Today I want to talk to you about something that has the power to change your life, learning English. If you've been struggling or feeling lost, let me tell you, you're not alone. I've been there too. I know how difficult it can feel when you want to express yourself in English but don't have the confidence or the right tools. But here's the good news. You're not stuck. You can improve, and I'm going to show you how. I want you to imagine something for a moment. Close your eyes and think about the life you want to live. Maybe you dream of traveling to other countries, meeting new people, getting your dream job, or simply feeling confident in a conversation. Whatever your dream is, I want you to hold on to it, because learning English can bring you closer to that dream. But remember, it's not going to happen overnight. It's a journey, and every small step you take matters. Let me share something personal with you. When I started learning English, I felt overwhelmed. I didn't know where to start. I would open a book and feel frustrated because I couldn't understand the words. I'd try to speak, but my tongue felt heavy, and I'd make so many mistakes. People would laugh, and honestly, I felt like giving up. But here's what kept me going. I reminded myself why I was doing it. I wanted to connect with the world. I wanted to feel proud of myself, and I knew that if I gave up, I would regret it forever. So let's start from the beginning. The first thing you need to understand is that learning English is not just about studying grammar or memorizing words. It's about making English a part of your daily life. Imagine you're building a house. The foundation is your motivation and consistency. Without these, the house will fall. Now, you might ask, how do I stay motivated? The answer is simple but powerful. You need to have a clear reason why you want to learn English. Maybe it's for your career, your family, your dreams, or simply because you love the language. Write this reason down and remind yourself of it every day. Whenever you feel like giving up, look at that piece of paper and say, "This is why I'm doing it." Once you've built your foundation, the next step is to immerse yourself in English as much as possible. You don't need to go to an English-speaking country to do this. You can create an English environment right where you are. Start by listening to English every day. Listen to the sounds, the rhythm, and the way words connect. It doesn't matter if you understand everything at first. The goal is to train your ears. You can start with something simple, like kids' shows or easy podcasts. If you enjoy music, listen to English songs and try to sing along. When I was learning, I would watch my favorite movies with subtitles. At first, I'd read the subtitles in my language, but over time, I switched to English subtitles. This helped me connect the words I heard with their meaning. Eventually, I stopped using subtitles altogether. It felt like magic when I realized I could understand without translating in my head. But listening is just one part of the process. You also need to speak. I know this can feel scary, especially if you're worried about making mistakes. But let me tell you a secret. Mistakes are your best friends. They're not something to be ashamed of. They're proof that you're learning. When you make a mistake, you learn what to do differently next time. So don't be afraid to speak, even if it's just to yourself. Talk about your day, describe what you see, or practice conversations in your head. I remember one day when I decided to speak English to myself while cooking. I was chopping vegetables and saying things like, I am cutting tomatoes. Now I'm adding salt. It felt silly at first, but over time, it became natural. The more I spoke, the more confident I became. Another thing that really helped me was keeping a journal in English. Every night, I'd write about my day, what I did, how I felt, and what I learned. At first, my sentences were very simple, like I went to the market, I bought apples. But as I learned more, my sentences became longer and more detailed. Writing helped me organize my thoughts and practice using new words. Speaking of words, let's talk about vocabulary. A lot of people think they need to learn thousands of words to speak English, but that's not true. You only need a few hundred words to start having conversations. Focus on the words you use every day, like eat, go, happy, and work. Don't just memorize these words, use them, make sentences, ask questions, and play with the language. Learning English is also about mindset. There will be days when you feel stuck or frustrated. On those days, remind yourself that progress takes time. Think of a baby learning to walk. They fall many times before they take their first step, but they never stop. Part 2. Reading and Thinking in English. When I began learning English, I realized something important. Reading was the key to expanding my world. It was like opening a door to endless knowledge. But here's the thing. I didn't start with big, complicated books. I began with simple things like children's stories and short articles. If you're just starting, I recommend picking something easy and interesting. It could be a short story, a news article, or even an English recipe if you enjoy cooking. The most important thing is to choose something you enjoy, because when you like what you're reading, you'll stay motivated. When you're reading, don't rush. Take your time to understand the sentences. If you come across a word you don't know, don't stop and translate it right away. Try to guess its meaning from the sentence. For example, if you read, "The cat jumped over the wall," and you don't know the word jumped, you can guess it means some kind of movement. This guessing game will train your brain to think in English instead of relying on your native language. But what if you still don't understand? That's okay. Write the word down and look it up later. And here's a tip. Don't just learn the meaning. Learn how to use the word. Make sentences with it. Say it out loud and try to use it in your daily life. The more you use it, the more it will stick in your memory. Now let's talk about how reading helps you think in English. When you read in English, you're not just learning new words. You're learning how sentences are formed, how ideas are expressed, and how people communicate in the language. Over time, this will naturally train your brain to think in English. But thinking in English doesn't happen overnight. It's like planting a seed. You need to water it every day by surrounding yourself with English. Here's something that worked for me. I started narrating my daily life in English. For example, when I was brushing my teeth, I'd think, "I'm brushing my teeth. The toothpaste is minty." When I was walking to the market, I'd think, "The sun is shining. I need to buy some vegetables." At first, it felt strange, but as I kept practicing, it became natural. This simple habit helped me switch from translating in my head to thinking directly in English. And you can do it too. Start with small sentences about what you're doing right now. Gradually, you'll find it easier to think in English without even realizing it. Reading also introduces you to different types of sentences and grammar without the need for boring lessons. For example, if you read a sentence like, "She has been studying for 2 hours," you're learning how the present perfect continuous tense is used without even thinking about grammar rules. Isn't that amazing? Another tip I want to share is to read out loud. When you read aloud, you're practicing speaking at the same time. It helps you improve your pronunciation, learn the rhythm of the language, and gain confidence. You don't need to read for hours. Even 10 minutes a day can make a big difference. Let me tell you about a turning point in my learning journey. One day, I picked up a book that was slightly above my level. It was challenging, and I struggled with many words. But I didn't give up. I kept reading, and by the end of the book, I felt like I had climbed a mountain. That experience taught me that it's okay to step out of your comfort zone. Choose something that challenges you, but not so much that it feels impossible. Now let's talk about building a habit. Reading every day, even for just 10 minutes, is more powerful than reading for an hour once a week. Consistency is the secret ingredient. Find a time in your day when you can read regularly. It could be in the morning with your coffee, during your lunch break, or before bed. Make it a part of your routine, like brushing your teeth. Another thing I highly recommend is keeping a notebook. Write down new words, phrases, or sentences you find interesting. But don't stop there. Review them regularly. Use them in your writing and speaking. This active learning will help you retain what you've learned. Speaking of notebooks, I remember I used to keep a small one in my pocket. Whenever I heard or read a new word, I'd jot it down. Later, I'd make sentences with it and practice saying them out loud. It was a simple habit, but it made a huge difference in my learning. Now, I want to share a fun activity with you. After you finish reading something, try to summarize it in your own words. For example, if you read a short story, think about the main idea and retell it to yourself in English. This will help you improve your understanding and speaking skills at the same time. Remember, learning English is not just about studying. It's about enjoying the process. Think of it as an adventure where every word you learn is a new discovery. Be patient with yourself and celebrate your progress, no matter how small. Part 3. Building writing skills and gaining confidence. Writing in English is one of the most powerful tools for mastering the language. It helps you organize your thoughts, improve grammar, and learn how to express yourself clearly. Many learners hesitate to write because they feel their English isn't perfect. But here's the truth. Nobody writes perfectly the first time. Writing is about practice, mistakes, and improvement. Let's start with a simple but important question. How do you begin writing in English? Start small and build up. When I began improving my writing skills, I didn't aim for big essays or stories. I started with short sentences. For example, today I went to the park. I saw a bird. It was blue. These sentences might seem basic, but they are the building blocks of writing. Once you're comfortable, you can add more details. Instead of saying, "I went to the park," you can write, "This morning I walked to the park near my house. The air was fresh, and the trees were full of colorful flowers." Adding details makes your writing more engaging and helps you learn new words and sentence structures. Write about your daily life. One of the easiest ways to practice writing is to keep a journal. Write about your day, your thoughts, or your plans. Don't worry about grammar or spelling at first. Just focus on putting your ideas on paper. For example, what did you do today? How did you feel? What are your goals for tomorrow? Here's a sample journal entry. Today was a busy day. I woke up at 7 a.m. and made breakfast. I had toast and eggs with tea. Then I went to work. It was a little stressful, but I finished all my tasks. In the evening, I watched a movie with my family. I felt relaxed and happy. Even if you write just 5 sentences a day, you're making progress. Practice writing conversations. Another great way to improve your writing is by practicing conversations. Imagine you're texting a friend in English. What would you say? Write a short dialogue. Me, hi, how are you? Friend, I'm good. Thanks. How about you? Me, I'm fine. What are you doing today? Friend, I'm going to the market. I need to buy some groceries. This exercise helps you learn how to express yourself naturally and prepares you for real-life interactions. Learn from examples. If you're not sure how to start, look at examples of writing. You can read letters, emails, or short stories written by others. Pay attention to how sentences are formed, how ideas flow, and how words are used. Then try to imitate those styles in your own writing. For example, if you read an email that starts with, "Dear John, I hope this email finds you well." You can use the same format for your emails. Challenge yourself with topics. Once you're comfortable with basic writing, challenge yourself with topics. Write about your favorite movie, describe your best friend, or explain your favorite recipe. For example, my favorite movie is The Pursuit of Happiness. It is an inspiring story about a man named Chris Gardner. He faces many difficulties, but never gives up. His determination teaches us to work hard and stay positive. I love this movie because it motivates me to chase my dreams. By choosing topics you're passionate about, writing will feel enjoyable instead of like a task. Focus on grammar and vocabulary gradually. When you start writing, don't worry too much about grammar. But as you improve, pay attention to the rules. For example, learn how to use tenses correctly. Write sentences like, "I am writing this now." "Yesterday I wrote an email, and tomorrow I will write a letter." Expand your vocabulary. Instead of always saying good, try words like wonderful, amazing, or fantastic. A good habit is to pick one grammar rule or one new word every day and practice using it in your writing. After you've written something, take time to review it. Look for mistakes, improve sentences, and add details. This process is called editing, and it's a crucial part of writing. Even professional writers edit their work multiple times. For example, if your original sentence is, "I like this book, it is good," you can edit it to, "I really enjoy reading this book because it's interesting and full of exciting ideas." Editing makes your writing clearer, more detailed, and more enjoyable to read. Set goals and track. Progress. To stay motivated, set small writing goals. For example, write 5 sentences every day. Write a short story once a week. Learn 5 new words and use them in your writing. Keep track of your progress. Compare your writing from a month ago to what you're writing now. You'll be surprised at how much you've improved. Ask for feedback. Sharing your writing with others can be scary, but it's one of the best ways to learn. Show your work to a friend, teacher, or even a language partner and ask for feedback. They can help you see your strengths and identify areas for improvement. Enjoy the journey. Writing is not just a skill. It's a way to express yourself, share your thoughts, and connect with others. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Every mistake is a step toward improvement. Celebrate your progress and enjoy the process of learning. Part 4. Unlocking your full potential in English mastery. In this last part, we're diving deep into the advanced yet practical strategies that will elevate your English learning experience. We'll focus on cultivating habits that bring long-term results, learning from real-life scenarios, and inspiring you to keep moving forward with confidence and purpose. To succeed, you need tools that work for you. Build your personalized English toolkit to make learning more efficient and enjoyable. 1. A journal for daily practice. Dedicate a notebook for writing about your day in English. Write about your emotions, what you learned, or even your dreams. Example: today I felt proud because I spoke confidently in English with a colleague. 2. Custom vocabulary lists. Focus on the words and phrases that match your interests or career. For example, if you're a doctor, prioritize medical vocabulary. Use context sentences to remember their usage. The patient was diagnosed with a rare condition. 3. Audio recorder. Record your voice when practicing speaking or reading. Listening to yourself helps you identify areas for improvement and track progress over time. One of the most effective ways to master English is by immersing yourself in everyday situations. At the grocery store, observe product labels written in English. Practice sentences like, "Where can I find the dairy section?" While traveling, practice polite questions. "How do I get to the nearest train station?" In conversations, learn filler phrases to keep conversations flowing. "Let me think," or "That's an interesting point." The more you integrate English into your routine, the more natural it becomes. Idioms and phrasal verbs are the secret ingredients of natural English. They make your speech and writing more colorful and engaging. 1. Idioms. Break the ice to make people feel more comfortable. A blessing in disguise, something good that seemed bad at first. 2. Phrasal verbs. Run into, to meet someone unexpectedly. Carry on, to continue. Use them in sentences to make them part of your active vocabulary. Shadowing is a technique where you repeat what you hear simultaneously. For beginners, it's about pronunciation, but for advanced learners, it's about tone, rhythm, and fluency. 1. Select speeches, interviews, or podcasts on topics you enjoy. 2. Play a sentence and pause to mimic its rhythm, tone, and speed. 3. Repeat until you sound confident. This builds fluency and helps you adapt to native-like speech patterns. Whenever you feel stuck, read about or watch videos of people who've successfully mastered English. Many of them started just like you, facing challenges and doubts. Their stories remind you that success is possible with persistence. For example, there are people who learned English through sheer willpower, watching TV shows, working hard on vocabulary, or practicing daily conversations until they became fluent. Their journeys can inspire and guide you. Involve friends and family in your learning process. If they also want to learn English, Create fun challenges together like speaking only in English for a day. If they already know English, ask them to correct your mistakes kindly or encourage you to practice. Learning together fosters motivation and makes the process enjoyable. Rewarding yourself is essential for staying motivated. After mastering 100 new words, treat yourself to a movie or your favorite dessert. Celebrate when you complete a month of consistent practice. These small celebrations remind you that every step forward is a victory. Learning English is more than a skill. It's a journey of self-discovery, confidence, and empowerment. On this journey, you'll face moments of doubt and frustration. But remember, every word you learn expands your world. Every sentence you speak builds your confidence. Every challenge you overcome makes you stronger. This journey is yours. It's not about perfection, but progress. It's not about speed, but persistence. You have everything you need to succeed. Believe in yourself, trust the process, and know that your hard work will pay off. One day you'll look back at this moment and realize how far you've come. Keep going, stay consistent, and never stop dreaming big. The world is waiting for you. And with English, there are no limits to what you can achieve. Thank you for allowing me to be part of your journey. Let this be the beginning of your success story.